Oh, I'm I'm really sorry. This I've been talking since last 5 minutes, and it seems I have not unmuted myself. I hope the sound is coming now. Okay, so I think I have to repeat myself. I forgot to unmute myself. Anyway, so welcome all of you to on this next episode of on blissful awareness. And I was non-stop talking since last 5 minutes. So so let me restart. So let's, if anybody has some question or clarification, they are most welcome to ask, or they are most welcome to put their comments, unmute themselves and talk. So we'll start with some of the questions which have come. And if anybody has to add anything, you are most welcome. So first point is that what is ignorance? What's the cause of ignorance? Before going to understand what is the cause of ignorance, let us see what is ignorance. Ignorance is when there is a wrong connection between two experiences, and that starts from very beginning when a child does not have a developed intellect, when the child is intellect is not mature enough to question anything. So he believes whatever is fed from the society, from friends, from parents, from the media, from wherever, all the sources which are available to a child, those form a deep impression into his mind. And many times those impressions carried over when he is adult also. And then also he is still carrying those impressions without questioning them. So the root cause could be many, like society, I said, parents, friends, and so many other places, books also, because books are written based on certain person's experience. Now, if that person has an ignorance, the reader will also get some ignorance. Or if the person has written something else and the reader is assuming things on its own, based on his own experiences, which are again based on certain beliefs, and accepting things as without questioning them, then ignorance comes. But let us go more deep into it, that what is the cause of ignorance. If to the parents, or to the society, to the friends, to other person, so you will find that their cause of ignorance is someone else. So there is no end to this chain, and ultimately you won't find any reasonable answer to this question, that what is the cause of ignorance, because there is no cause, it just is. Even if it vanishes from one individual, it is still there at some other place, and all memory is connected. So ignorance is there and knowledge is there. So both are coexisting at the same time. If one is not there, then the other does not have any significance at all. So both are coexisting. We can't say that this is the reason for ignorance. If you have to ask what is the cause of ignorance, then you yourself is the cause of ignorance. The existence itself is the cause of ignorance. But that is meaningless. So in existence, both ignorance and knowledge is there. Now, what is to be avoided? What ignorance needs to be, uh, I mean, why ignorance is to be removed then? Because it makes you sad, it makes you unhappy, it makes you run after those things which does not gives you pleasure. Ignorance is to assume something to be something which it is not. That is, in simple words, ignorance. Like taking untrue to be true, taking which is not changing to be changing, and taking which is changing to be non changing, taking which is me not to be not me, and what is not me to be me. Similarly, there are so many examples that whatever is not what it is, and we take it to be that, is ignorance. If anybody has some more views on this, or want to say what is the cause of ignorance, then they can write it, like what could be the cause of ignorance. And then the question will come, how can the ignorance be removed? Whether it is possible, I think Yeah, he has written that question also, question number 4. So we'll come to that. But before going to that, if somebody has a better answer to what is the cause of ignorance, you can write your views, because this is very important, because the ignorance itself is the root cause of all other afflictions, be it running after desires, be it aversion, be it cravings, be it fear, and so many other things, attachments. All actions which results from ignorance will always be attaching you towards the word, which pull you towards the word. So if I think there's no comments on what is the cause of ignorance, then let us move ahead. In my view, there's no cause which can be definitely assigned to the root cause of ignorance, because it will be there in one form or other. It may be absent in one place, not absent exactly, maybe reduced or attenuated to a greater extent, but it will be available at some other place. Since there are no divisions, so I can't say that the ignorance is completely removed. But the point is from where it all started. So there won't be any reason, any substantial logical answer to this. How many types of ignorance exist? I think there is only one type of ignorance, primarily taking something to be what it is not. And if you go further deep into it, you will find there are several things which we take, believe to be it, which it is not. And it starts from, in fact, there is nothing which you can know as what it is. So that is the beauty of it. So therefore, everything is ignorance. Even if whatever we say as knowledge is also some type of ignorance, because I can't say that I know what I know is the only thing as it is. How can anybody be sure of it? Because whatever knowledge or experience you get is coming through the senses, and senses itself are an experience. So you see the dichotomy or the problem here, that that thing which through which the experiences are coming, and the experiences are the fundamental in removing ignorance, that itself is under question now. So what is certain? The only thing which is certain is that I am there. How can I be so sure about it? Because it cannot be denied, right? If anybody is here who can deny I am not there, will is most welcome to go into it, that how, the one who is saying I am not there is the one who is there. So there is no answer to, there is no denial that I am not there. So that is the only certainty which is available, because you are there when in the waking state, you are there when you are dreaming, you are there in the projected state, and you are there when there is a dreamless sleep. However, you are, if you are only in one, then you can't be in other. So you are in all of them. How can you be in all of them when there is no interrelation between these things? So therefore, you find it very intriguing. This question cannot be answered. That what is that which is knowing? Because that itself, if it becomes known, then it cannot be said that it is knowing. So this will result into endless. I mean, you can go one step behind, one step behind, and ultimately you will end where from you started. That what which is knowing right now, right here at this moment, will be the end of this quest also. So it is better to say that you cannot know who you are, but still it is known in all the experiences. What is known is also that which is knowing it. There is no difference, because as you go subtle and subtle, the differences, the divisions, the boundaries starts vanishing. There are no boundaries in space, in sky. Where are the boundaries? And everything is existing in sky. So even the boundaries which are imagined between two apparent projected states, like a 3D movie, when we see a boundary between one object and another object in a 3D movie. But are there any space in between? That space is created, that which is just a sound and effect of light. I don't know how it is done with what technology. With the help of glass, you start seeing two-dimensional as three-dimensional. So that is again an instrument which is making a two-dimensional movie a three-dimensional movie. If you remove the glasses which you are wearing, you will start seeing two-dimensional screen in the movie theater. Now, what is there which makes that two-dimensional as three-dimensional? That means there is no space between the two objects in 3D which you are seeing in the movie. Is it not? And it is an only a illusion which is created by wearing the glasses. So that is an instrument to give you a certain information. If a person who is born with these glasses, those glasses cannot be removed, then you imagine his situation. He will always believe it to be like that. Same is the situation with all beings, all existence, all beings which exist. Like a dog has a very strong sense of smell and sound. Now you can't imagine how strong smell dog can have. Like he can smell maybe a few 100 meters or kilometers ahead of a smell. He can follow a smell. So for him, the word is absolutely different. For a human being, that sense, that faculty was not very important. So it was not that developed. And there are other faculties which are more critical for a human being, like emotions, like mind, like intellect, awareness. So those get more developed, and those faculties were more utilized, and based on that, knowledge and ignorance is created. So how many type of ignorance? So there is only one. Taking something to be what it is not is a type of ignorance, and it has further divisions, several divisions, numerous divisions. How ignorance change from childhood to 100 years of age? Ignorance is ignorance only, be it a child or be it a grown up person, only flavors are changing. Earlier, we were playing with small toys and believed it to be my toy. And if somebody takes it, even your brother takes it, sometimes you start fighting, you start crying. Whereas in an adult, grown up world, a 50-year-old person, 40-year-old person, he is doing the same thing, only the toys have changed. Now, the toys are that I want to prove myself in the society, I want to establish an image which is positive in others person's mind. How crazy is that? I want to maintain that illusionary image which the other person thinks I am, and my whole life is spent on that. See how how things change. How to overcome ignorance? Now I will ask somebody in the seekers, if anybody wants to comment, what is the way to overcome ignorance? We understood there is no cause. We talked about that. What is the definition of ignorance? How many types of ignorance are there? And it is taking or believing something to be what it is not is ignorance. And we saw that it only changes flavor as the life grows. But the moot question and the most fundamental one is whether it is possible to overcome ignorance. If yes, then how? How to overcome ignorance? I think that is the most important thing. Sanjeev has written, meditation can help to overcome ignorance. So, what does meditation do, and how to meditate? Or is meditation the only way to overcome ignorance? Sanjeev, if you can either speak or you can write, or somebody else likes to comment that whether meditation alone is the method to overcome ignorance or that is not sufficient. There are other mechanisms also, other methods to overcome it.
जय गुरुदेव।
Yeah,
इसमें
namaskar.
मेरे नमस्कार। इसमें मेरा क्या मानना है कि मेडिटेशन हेल्प कर
Better if
सकता
you
है
speak
तो
in English, Sanjeev. Better
if
if you.
I think if we do meditation, it help us to bring the present moment. and it can help us to overcome the ignorance, because ignorance take us away from the present moment also. And any practice which help us in bringing them the present moment can help to relieve from overcome ignorance. This is my view.
You're right
That's
here.
my
I mean, I'm not saying that what you said is not correct, but is there any other way? I mean, this point is right. We will deliberate on this also. But in your experience, do you find that to remove ignorance, this is the only way, or is there some other way possible from your own experience?
some other ways are possible, like if you are observing nature, so that also help. And if you are talking to your friends, so it brings some clarity in your mind also.
Okay, we will deliberate on these 2 points also. But before coming to your first point, you said that meditation will help you to establish in the present moment, and that way you can remove the ignorance. So tell me, what do you mean by meditation when you say meditation will help you to establish in the present moment? What do you mean by meditation, and also what is present moment for you?
Uh, Meditation means ki uh, you are bringing attention to your body and observing what is happening in your mind. Uh, and you are sitting in a quiet place and you observe what is happening to your body, your mind, and you keep your eye closed. And then what is happening to your internal intellect and breath, everything. Slowly, slowly, certain clarity comes up in your mind, and you start observing lot of traffic of thoughts is going on. And when you do this, so you are automatically come to your present moment. Otherwise, a lot of thoughts are coming. So you're switching from thought to another thought, one sensation to another sensation, and one experience to another experience. So yeah, you shut down all the external stimulus and focus what is happening in your mind structure. That way you come to your present moment. That I feel. I may be
See,
wrong, but also.
no, I mean, there's nothing right or wrong. We are just talking about our own methods and ways to see what is useful and what is not useful, what is practical, what is not practical. What is correct for one person can be not correct for other person. So there is nothing right and wrong. But let me give my perspective on what you have said. One, that you mentioned that once we start observing what is happening in the mind, that is meditation, which is correct, because meditation simply means not fully correct, but that is the starting point. Because if you can fix your attention at one point for a greater length of time, that is meditation. Means continuity of attention or concentration on one point. It can be a gross object or it can be a subtle object. So we start with the gross object first, and in that gross object we are engrossed. We are engrossed to an extent that we forget that I am seeing that object. You become one with that object. There is no process in between. That is called starting of meditation. But see, meditation will lead you to union, which is called samadhi in Hindi. So dharna, dhyan, samadhi. So dharna is concentrating on one point. When this is prolonged, it is called meditation. And once that prolonged continuation will make you dissolve the three things: the knower, that which is known, and the process by which it is known. So three things dissolve. There's only one thing which remain: either the knower, or the known, or the medium through which it is known. So mostly it will get dissolved into what is being known, and that itself is the starting point of meditation. So once this division starts dissolving, it is called oneness or union, or uh, just existence, or just beingness, just presence. Now this process will help you in establishing a present moment is slightly questionable, because whatever is present moment. There is nothing beyond the present moment. There is no possibility that you cannot be in the present moment. So to say that when you are in meditation, then only you are in the present moment is perhaps not absolutely right, because what is present moment. There is no other thing available in the whole creation beyond this present moment. If anybody has experienced something beyond this present moment, then they can tell me when they were not in the present moment. If you are always in the present moment, then what is the need to come to the present moment? And when you say present moment, there is a element of time involved here. That there is something past, there is something future, and there is something called present moment. Now, that itself is a illusion. The concept of time is an illusion. The concept, because the mind cannot exist without time, right? But mind itself is illusion. So time and mind are very much correlated. They are absolutely intermingled with each other. And mind is in concept only, because the time changes. When you are dreaming, the time length can be stretched or squeezed. Even in the waking state, sometimes in happy moments, the time just flows, and sometimes it just shrinks. It just it doesn't passes out. It seems to be very long. Same way with dreamless state. There is no availability of time there as such. So we see that time is stretchable. Even this present moment. What is this present moment? Is this 1 second you call as present moment? Or one by 1 crore of a second is the present moment? Or 1 by 1 billion of a second is the present moment? You can't define it. There's no way you can define the time. The only way you define the time is the comparison between two events, the comparison between two memories. That is the way to define time. Again, if memory itself is an illusion, the time will become an illusion. Or the event, where the event is happening, it is happening in the mind, right? And where the time is happening, again, it is happening in the mind. So, are they not both creation of the mind? So, only when you are meditating, you are established in the present moment is perhaps not very correct. But let us go slightly deviate from here. That is there any other way of removing the ignorance? Because what is the way to remove the darkness is to light a candle. You can't break a stone and see that the darkness is removed. Same way, to remove the ignorance is to get the knowledge. And what is knowledge? Knowledge is to see as what it is, to see time as illusion, to see who am I, to investigate into that and see, to know what you are as you are, and to see the world as it is, to see the objects as they are, to see the relations as they are. Here, meditation will help, because with meditation, mind settles down. With meditation, the capability to see the ignorance as ignorance comes. With mind settling down, the intellect, faculty of intellect develops. And that faculty of intellect, when it is pure, it is not that a very intellectual person is able to understand this principle of non-duality or who he is. It is available to everyone. It's not that an illiterate person cannot know who I am. In fact, the more cluttered your mind is, the more chance is that you will grasp the things as they are. So, what do we mean when we say that mind is settled once with the help of meditation? Only means that the mind has the got the capability to focus on one subject, and one subject means only that subject at that point of time. And there need to be a purity in the intention, purity in the in the action which you are doing for. If there is no and result you are wanting from the meditation, then it will perhaps not be called meditation, because meditation is actually aimless. You can't need to close your eyes all the time to meditate. And who is meditating? And what is beyond meditation? It is awareness, right? So if a person is meditating and he just meditates, and as soon as the meditation is over, he is back into his normal activities, all actions which may not be desirable or desirable, and the awareness is not there, and he thinks meditation is only when the eyes are closed, then it is not correct, because meditation can be a focus on a gross object and to the most subtlest of an object, like who am I, like who is that which is knowing this thought right now at this moment. If you can focus on just one of this thought, then this thought will be gone and that which is knowing will remain, and that itself is meditation. Now that doesn't mean that you do it always with the eyes closed. So to remove the ignorance, the best way is to get the knowledge, and to get the knowledge, the best way is to follow one who has himself or herself got it, to the one whom you love, the one whom you believe, to the one whom you have faith to start with. And you don't have to have blind faith into him. Just see what is the way he is delivering, how he is communicating, what are the words with whether they resonate with what you have in your life. So you have to see whether the whole thing resonates with you, whether you are able to connect with the one who is speaking, and thereafter you will be able to see it from your own experience, from your own intellect. You verify it. You don't have to believe uh, the person whom you are listening or whom you are reading. Correlate with your own experience, then you will be able to go deep into that subject. Like I was saying, that what is the way to remove the darkness is to light a candle. Same way, the way to remove the ignorance is to light, go after knowledge. Don't bother about ignorance. Once you go after knowledge, the ignorance will be start shedding itself. So that is the direct step. But the process is right, what you said, meditation will help. Madhuri has said that awareness is the key, but it will come from true knowledge, that is knowing the truth. Yes, you're very right. So, knowledge is the mechanism or the way to remove the ignorance. Let us go on and move on to the next question. Gudev has asked, with rocks, anybody has anything to add on the subject of ignorance or something else, please feel free. I hope it is clear to you, Sanjeev. If there is any doubt, you can still ask.
So actually, I was thinking when we discuss something with our friends also, so some ignorance is removed. When we are thinking this something is to be done this way, and we realize that there are better ways also that we were not previously thinking. Even like in knowledge also, we are thinking some knowledge point. We think that it is like this way, and but after discussion, we realize that at least it is like some other way, quite different from what you were thinking. So discussing satsang also is helpful for removing ignorance.
Yes, you are absolutely right. That's what we said, that ignorance can be removed by someone who, by connecting with someone who has moved slightly ahead of you on this path. I mean, this is all relative, but still, from wherever you can get some information, from wherever you can get some authentic place where you have some faith and love also. So going to that source, then not believing it with a blindfold eyes, seeing whatever is being said in your own experience and intellect. So you are right. Sometimes friends can help you show the right path. Sometimes friends can show you a different perspective which perhaps you have not been able to see it yourself. So that will be helpful, and that friend can be your teacher or a person who can show you path, or a guru also. So ultimately, guru is the most reliable friend you have, to whom you can connect, to whom you can go, and that preparedness is there. If that preparedness is there, then the guru comes in your life, who can just with a small gesture, with a small, not gesture, from with a small word or his presence itself, the ignorance will be seen as it is. The ignorance will be wiped out to a great extent. And from there on, you can, once those things are resonating with yourself, you will be able to proceed further in your life by implementing it, with experimenting on what is being said, and then taking it for yourself to be true. Then it is your own experience. But as we discussed earlier, that the experience itself is illusion. So anything which is known through experience will also be an illusion. So because there's nothing else other than experience and the experiencer. And experiences are illusion because they keep on changing, whereas the experiencer is not changing. So if we see experience as an illusion, then it will help you to establish in the experiencer, in the sense that you are already the experiencer, but you get carried away with the experience, and sometimes that causes pains and problems. So once that is clear, at least conceptually, then you will be able to go deep into who is knowing it, what is it that which is experiencing it, who is the experiencer, and that experiencer, how it is different from the mind, let us say. Whether the experiencer is the body, no. So whether it is the mind. So here a small example will be very helpful. Like, sun is there and there is a mirror. So that sun is shining on the mirror. So if you take mirror to be the source, then perhaps that is not the right conclusion. Mirror is only reflecting what is there somewhere else. I mean, this is just an analogy. Don't have to take it literally. But this is just to show that whatever is shining is not the source, or may not be the source. It is just reflecting. Same thing or similar thing is happening with mind and body, intellect. That experiencer is getting reflected through mind and intellect. And mind and intellect is being taken as the source. That is the fundamental ignorance, that there is a first, there is a separation between the experiencer and mind and intellect. Second, the mind itself is the source of knowledge or source of ignorance, which is wrong, absolutely wrong, because mind itself is ignorance as such. Mind itself is an illusion. So it is not a source, it is just an equipment from where certain types of experience can come. And mind's ability is just to restrict the experiences. It is not uh, expanding the experiences. As the mind settles down, the experiences may expand. So you see the difference. If you are trying to get everything through certain sense organs, then you will have very limited experiences. Whereas if the physical or the five sense organs, when they go down, when they are in sleep, in the dream, you still have experiences. So where from those experiences are coming? And in deep sleep, still there are certain experiences which you don't remember. But let us say those experiences are just you are with yourself. You are just immersed in yourself. But the difference is you are not aware that you are sleeping, you are not dreaming, you are not awake. So if that awareness is existing in all the three states, in the waking, dream, and also in deep sleep, that is called a unbroken awareness, or turiya avastha. So that is still available right now, right here. Only thing is we have just forgotten. Like, the clouds have covered the sun. Doesn't mean the sun is not there. It is still there. I hope. I think we have extended it too much. Ramakanji is saying that we should know what is ignorance to remove ignorance. Absolutely right. To know ignorance, what is ignorance is very important, and the way out is knowledge. And just focus on knowledge, the ignorance will start getting removed by itself. You don't have to do any special activity to remove the ignorance. Just focus on the knowledge. Just start evaluating, start questioning whether what I think to be what it is whether it is like that, or there can be some other possibility. Then you will find that infinite answers will start appearing in front of you for every small thing which you take for granted. For each and every small thing you can start questioning whether, like, whether I'm seeing a tree right now in front of me, whether is it the tree, how it is a tree, is it how I know that it is a tree. You know it is a tree because you can see it, you can touch it, you can smell it, you can perhaps taste it. But what does it mean? You have a concept also of a tree. Otherwise, it is not a tree, right? You have named it to be a tree. Otherwise, it is not a tree. You have commingled all those experiences, different experiences coming from different senses in somewhere, and that knowledge itself is called tree. That tree is not exactly a tree. You can call it some other by some other name in some other language. So still, there is something which is beyond the words and where the tree is experienced. Are, are, are you not the tree when you see the tree? This needs to be thought over. So you will find that every instance, every there are so many possibilities, numerous possibilities to go deep into what is there, to not take it as it is. I'm not saying you go into a mental gymnasism and always keep on doing this. Sometimes just to see that whether whatever is being fed to me through media, through newspapers, through spiritual books, through different gurus, through different teachers, through whether are they collaborated with my own experiences, whether they are collaborated with my logic. And ultimately, you will find that all experiences are unreliable, but you don't have anything better to rely on. So there is a problem here now. So you have to believe on your experiences to start with, and then establish those experiences with a corresponding logic, intellect. And then when you find the guru, when you find the right teacher in your life, then you will find that even the intellect itself is not reliable. Now you are again in a much bigger problem. So therefore the only answer to come out from ignorance is the grace which comes from the guru which is no one else but you yourself. The guru is the grace comes from the scriptures, the grace comes from the nature, the abundance, the grace comes from the guru. But the most importantly, the grace comes from your beingness, your presence, your existence. If that is available, and when that is available, to whom that is available, to whom the existence reveals itself. Let me clarify it once more. You can't know existence by reading books. You can't know existence by doing different practices. You can't know existence by doing any sort of activity. And what is the way out? The way out is when the existence itself have grace on the existence. Then the existence knows itself as existence. This may not make sense to many, but this is what it is. This is what I have come to in conclusion. That grace is not something external. It is available all the time. Then why it is not available to someone and not available to others? This question itself is coming from ignorance because there is no you, me. There is no individual. That individual which wants grace is an illusion. Where is that individual? Okay, we agree that in practical word there is a individual, They need to be an individual to interact. They need to be words to interact. But do you need words to talk with yourself? Is it really needed? But we still keep on talking to ourselves. Why? Can we? I was talking to someone, and that person was not at all able to accept this, that you can exist without thoughts. He or she was not at all able to even appreciate the idea that there can be gap between two thoughts. So you just see the level of ignorance is that I gave example that if you're seeing a sunset and you just get immersed into it, then there may be a moments when thoughts are not there. So that answer was that no, no, for seeing the sunset, you are thinking that you are seeing the sunset. Now that is really absurd because you can always be without the thoughts. There is a microsecond gap between the two thoughts, right? So that gap can always be there. I mean, mostly if you say that in deep sleep, there are hardly any thoughts. So are you not there? So we have to understand that nothing is always needed to, thoughts are just a mechanism to communicate with somebody else in a practical word. But what is the utility of thought when you are talking to yourself? What is happening? You are dividing your mind into two. I am something. I want to know something else. I'm creating a division. Then there is a thought. Then there is a conceptualization, ideation, mentation. And then that whatever is known, something else is known by me myself through this whole circuit in a cir- circumferential or circuitous method. But how do I know myself? Do I need a thought to know myself? Or I am the one who is knowing the thought? Can I not be there without the thoughts? What is the use of meditation you mentioned? The use of meditation is that you focus on one subject, one object, which whether gross and then subtle, subtle, subtle. Ultimately, you will find that object dissolves, or the knower dissolves, which is knowing the object, or there is nothing in between the two. There is no mechanism, there is no process. So that is the culmination of meditation. That is the culmination of meditation when the three things dissolve into one, they merge into oneness. And it is not that they are merging because you are meditating, it is always merged. It is only by ignorance that you thought there are divisions. So that needs grace, that needs purity of mind, that needs purity of intention, and that needs a guru to tell you, and that needs grace of yourself on yourself, the existence on existence, the presence on presence, the beingness on beingness, the life on life, the you on you. Nobody else will come and take you through all this. You have to do it yourself. What Guru does is just he shows you something which gets revealed by itself. Then it's not that he is showing you or asking you to believe in something which he has gone through. No, no, no. It's not never like that. Sadguru, a true teacher will never do that. That you believe what I'm telling you. You have to accept what I'm telling you. And if you ask certain questions, he will get angry. It's not like that. He will just say that, okay, you have come. See, I have gone through like this, and I feel it is this way. Go and explore yourself. And if you are corroborating with those things, those words, if they are vibrating within you, if they are just reciprocating, then you will find it. I think let us take the last question. Bhudev has said that whether rock, soil, water, apparent inert matter, anytime in future also becomes alive like trees, small creatures, and then human as the process of evolution. No, it doesn't happen like this because the inert matter, there is nothing called inert and life. Whatever is. And whether you call the inert matter like mud or whatever substance and objects, air, water, That is what the body is, right? So body is also inert, and mind is subtle form, but it is again inert. Like ice is solid, it is inert. Water is more subtle, but it is inert. Gas or steam is even more subtle, but still it is inert, right? Same way, body is inert, the mind is inert, the intellect is inert. Like the example which we were just talking about, that a reflection of the sun on a mirror does not make the mirror the source. Same way, mirror is not alive. Mirror is just inert. So nothing becomes inert to consciousness, to awareness. The awareness or the knower is only one. I want to know this because they have no problems, pain, and pleasures like any living creatures, animal. What you are saying that five elements does not have any pain, pleasure, and emotions, but animals and human beings do have these things. So they are lively, and these things are not alive. I think there is some sort of more contemplation is required to understand more deeply in this subject, whether the mind can know itself, whether what is mind? A commingling of thoughts, a commingling of emotions, sensations, and ego, that I am separate entity. So what is there in the mind which makes you believe that it is alive? Is it not an experience? So mind is projector. Anuradha has said. Yes, absolutely right. It is just a tool, a mechanism through which certain experiences can be have. In fact, it itself is an experience. So there is a problem here, right? You can't say that mind is alive and what is non-mind is non-alive, non-living. Satya is saying there is no perception experience outside. Everything is seen inside, happens inside. The word is inside out. Absolutely right. So that's what the word is. Where is the word? If you are not there, whether the word is, even if when you are there, where is the word? Is it not inside you or it is outside you? You can say, yes, it is outside me. But when you say it is outside me, the reference point is either the body or the mind, right? But how far you are from the mind, how far the word is from the mind, and how far you are from the mind, then you will find the ignorance in believing that word is outside in. In fact, it is inside out. Where you are, there the word is, right? If you are living in a dream, the word is in the dream. If you are in a dreamless state, the word is in a dreamless state. If you are in the waking state, the word is in the waking state. So, where is really the word? Is it outside you or is it somewhere within you? I think today we can close here because I have to go somewhere. There were some calls in between, and that has interrupted the discussion also. So, anyway, thank you very much for joining in, and please feel free to share your experiences. To if you are facing some problems, other seekers can also help to understand it much better. As Sanjeev were mentioning, friends help. So we all are just moving on the same direction, perhaps, and the ignorance needs to be shed, which is the root cause of all our problems, all our pains, and misery in the life. So thank you very much for joining in. We'll see you next week. Thank you.